US Congressman Riley Moore has finally presented a two-page report to the White House detailing the alleged persecution of Christians in Nigeria. He was urging President Trump to take immediate action, and his tweet reads, "Today, I joined members of the House Committees on Appropriations and Foreign Affairs at the White House to formally present the comprehensive report outlining concrete actions to end the persecution of Christians in Nigeria and counter growing extremist violence in the region." The meeting follows President Trump's redesignation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern on 31st October 2025. President Trump requested Congressman Moore and Appropriations Committee Chairman Tom Cole to lead a comprehensive investigation on the persecution against Christian communities and security challenges plaguing Nigeria. This report is the result of months of investigation, including a bipartisan congressional fact-finding trip to Nigeria, hearings with the expert witnesses, consultations with religious leaders, meetings with internally displaced persons, and engagement with senior Nigerian government officials. The official report outlines several key recommendations, including 1. Establishing a bilateral US-Nigeria security agreement to protect vulnerable Christian communities and dismantle jihadist networks in Nigeria. 2. Withholding certain US funds pending demonstrable action by the Nigerian government to stop violence against Christians. 3. Implementing sanctions and visa restrictions against individuals and groups responsible for or complicit in religious persecution. 4. Providing technical support to the Nigerian government to eliminate violence from armed Fulani militias. And 5. Demanding the repeal of Sharia and blasphemy laws in Nigeria. 6. Working with international partners including France, Hungary, and the United Kingdom. Some of these recommendations on the list are already in place. In 2025 and 2026, the US-Nigerian security cooperation deepened significantly. Nigeria and the United States established a joint working group on security to coordinate efforts against terrorism and insecurity after a Nigerian delegation led by National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu visited Washington, D.C. last year. The US had delivered military supplies and equipment to Nigerian forces to support the ongoing operations against armed groups, reinforcing bilateral security ties. US reconnaissance intelligence is now being shared with the Nigerian Air Force to assist domestic military strikes against violent extremist groups, a major shift toward operational cooperation. Approximately 100 to 200 US Special Operations personnel and advisors have arrived in Nigeria, focusing on military training, technical support, and intelligence fusion, not independent combat roles. African Commander General Dagvin Anderson visited Abuja in February 2026, reaffirming US commitment to assist Nigerian-led solutions and enhance shared security outcomes. The US has used unmanned aerial platforms, drones, for strike in northwest Nigeria against Islamic-linked states in Sokoto State. The Nigerian government confirmed that guided missiles were launched from MQ-9 Reaper drones as part of joint operations between Nigeria and the US. Nigeria itself is expanding drone capabilities, including commercial and military drone systems, through local partnerships. For example, Nigeria's first commercial mobile drone operations was recently launched in Port Harcourt to help monitor infrastructure and security. The US-Nigeria relationship is currently heavy on joint security engagement, especially tactics, intelligence sharing, military assistance, and training support. America is not publicly opening a fully staffed drone office or permanent combat base in Nigeria as of early 2026, but US drones and personnel are actively supporting Nigerian operations, and the two nations are coordinating closely on counter-terrorism efforts. Nigeria is also building its own drone industry and security tech capabilities, partly influenced by cooperation with foreign partners including the US. This cooperation is seen as crucial in confronting threats from extremist groups operating in the northeast and other volatile regions in Nigeria. By deepening ties with the US, the Tinubu administration signals that it is willing to leverage global partnerships to address domestic security crises. Supporters have argued that terrorism today is transnational, involving cross-border financing, arms flow, ideological networks, and therefore requires international collaboration. Strengthening ties with Washington, they say, gives Nigeria access to advanced technology, intelligence systems, and strategic expertise. Insecurity in Nigeria has worsened over the past few months. Only recently, according to reports, gunmen stormed a community called Woro in Kwara State, killing about 200 people and kidnapping dozens of women and children. Homes were burnt, shops were set ablaze with people trapped inside. Survivors described these entire families were wiped out in one night. Residents allege that the attackers are linked to ISIS. They reportedly came days after the community resisted extremist demands. If true, that suggests that this was not random banditry, but ideological terror designed to punish and dominate. Now, here is the bigger question. What does this mean for Nigeria's security strategy? If 200 people can be massacred in one coordinated attack, if dozens of women and children can be taken, if an entire town can be burnt for hours, then Nigerians will ask, where was the intelligence and where was the rapid response? This is not about politics, it's about human lives. And at the same time, it's important to understand something, that extremist violence in Nigeria has evolved. It is no longer just insurgency in Northeast. It is mobile, it is adaptive, and it is increasingly capable of hitting new regions, including parts of the North Central. If Riley Moore's meeting with Donald Trump is being viewed through the lens of US-Nigeria relations, then the real significance lies less in the optics and more in what direction American foreign policy may take moving forward. Trump's political influence within the United States of America still shapes debates around security, military engagement abroad, and counter-terrorism priorities. Any conversation around Africa, terrorism, or strategic partnerships will inevitably affect countries like Nigeria, especially at a time when Nigeria is battling extremist violence and deepening intelligence cooperation with Washington. The conclusion many people would draw is that US-Nigeria security cooperation is likely to remain driven by American national interests first. That means counter-terrorism collaboration will continue where it aligns with US security goals. But expectations of large-scale permanent military commitment may be unrealistic. The United States tends to favor intelligence sharing, limited troop presence, drone capabilities, and strategic adversaries role rather than long-term boot-on-the-ground deployment. For Nigeria, the way forward must be strategic rather than dependent on the United States. An engagement with Washington should focus more on strengthening institutional capacity, surveillance systems, financial intelligence tracking, and rapid response coordination, while avoiding over-reliance on foreign security backing. This is Impact Media. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Thank you for listening. I will see you again in the next one.